What's up, Nerfagensei here. This week, FC Glen came out. The Summer Festa Glen came out, and straight up, I couldn't even be motivated to make a should you pull video for him. Like, I feel like other content creators too didn't make a video because you just look at this guy. It's like, yo, this is a rare character who's not that impressive, and they made a fake girl for him. Didn't change his skills whatsoever. Why the hell would you pull for this dude? Like, legit. I could not. I couldn't make a video for it. I was like, this is a waste of time. I'm not doing this. So instead, this week, I decided I'm gonna make a video talking about when you should pull for a fake core. All right. So just like in general, when you should pull for fake core and how far you should go and like how to gauge these things. And of course, most of the time, FC Glen I skipped. But most of the time, me and other content creators and people on Reddit, etc., will be making posts, making videos on should you pull for this character or not. And you can always use those as references, right? So you're never by yourself if you're on the fence or you don't know if you should pull for a unit. However, I do think you should, have some basic knowledge and, think for yourself whether or not this unit is worth pulling for or not. Okay? So I'm just going to go over my thought process when it comes to pulling for a fake core or not. Okay, so I guess we'll start with FC Glen, and I just went over them, right? FC Glen definitely shouldn't pull. Reason why? It's like nothing. Literally, you don't get anything for it. Like, why would you do that? He's not a unit that you use very much anywhere ever anyway, right? And the fake core doesn't change his skills whatsoever, and he gets some passives, but the passives don't really do that much, honestly. So, pass, right? That's an obvious pass. So then I want to go up, but now I want to go for something that is a little more debatable or something to really think about, and that is FC Dagus that came out the other day. Um, Anybody who's been watching my content, I love Dagus. Dagus is a boss. I love him. However, when I look at his fake core, I'm just not impressed at what he gets. Right? Regular Dagus, his base unit is really good. It's a really good base unit. However, when you look at his fake core, what does he get? He gets the Summer Blessing passive, which is kind of meh, right? And it doesn't stack. And since you're going to be using Iris, I didn't know this at the time, right, when his FC came out, but I figured I'd be pulling for at least one of these summer, whatever, the summer fake cores, right? I'd be pulling for at least one of them. One of them was going to be meta changing, or one of them was just going to be a really good character, and I'd definitely go all in for that character. So when Dagus came out, I was like, all right, so we got the Summerfest passive with the Frost immunity, right? Doesn't really matter. It's not that big a deal. In fact, before Iris came out, I actually preferred Bathory to be able to hit my team so I could Wrath her back and get her to 1 HP. Right? So that did literally nothing for me. Then we've got the flop, whatever it's called, passive. That's kind of whatever. Honestly, it is. Especially for Dagus, like his skill 2 is an AoE CC anyway. Obviously PvP, you don't want to do that before Iris. However, like PvE wise, you can AoE CC people anyway. And then PvP, you either don't want to AoE, or maybe you could single target CC someone for 3 turns. But really, that's just so niche and specific, and it's really not that useful, right? And then you've got the stats that he gets, which everybody gets. And honestly, that's the only thing that saves useless fake cores. Like, literally, for Dagus' fake core, they could have taken out all of the passives, just give him increased stats, right? And made it so, like, it's 350 a pull instead of 700 a pull, and I would have pulled for Dagus, just for the extra stats. The passives literally didn't really mean anything to me, right? So, looking at the passives that he gets, they're not nothing, they're something, but they're just not much. And then you get the stats. So, when I think about that, I'm going to think, like, Dagus is a really good base character, but you put the FC on top, and maybe it's like a 20% increase in value. And of course, this 20% that I came up with is subjective, right? I didn't plug it into an equation and be like, okay, you put the extra stats in and this passive, you plug that in here, and it equals 20%. No. It's subjective, but like the way I see it, the value on his fate core is maybe 20%. That's the tops. More like 15 to 10%. Okay? Um, and likewise, Bernadette over here, that's going to be coming out in a few weeks, is the same thing. I think Bernadette as a base character is strong. She's a pretty strong unit. However, I'm assuming her fate core most likely is just going to be like Dagus and Glenn, where there's no change to her skills. She's just going to get the passives and then the increased stats from being a fate core, right? And one, Summer Blessing passive counters her, right? And everybody's using that, so that's one thing to consider. But two, the passives don't really work with her that much. She can't buff herself. However, if she is buffed, she does have an AoE, so that's something. But it's really not much, right? So literally the best thing that you get from her Fate Core is the increased stats. So once again, that'll be like Dagus, 20% increase in value tops, more like 10%. Okay, so those FCs you shouldn't pull for. Just straight up, you shouldn't pull for. Now let's try and go with an FC that is like good, but not super duper good. Honestly, the middle of the pack. All right, we got like a Brook. Let's go with Brook. I don't have FC Brook. Actually, we can go over here while we talk about Brook. But FC Brook, for example. FC Brook will get... I forget which one he's actually in. I don't think it's this one. It's this one. So FC Brook, right? FC Brook, this is 420, this is 240. These are the same as regular Brook, I think. So literally it's all about the passive and the stats. And the passive is good. It's the same passive as FC Illume, right? It's the oh shit button, which is actually really nice. And since Brook is like a dragon hunter, you're going to be using him in dragon, this is really good for dragon. It means dragon hits him and gets him really low once, and his passive procs. And then dragon hits him, gets really low again, and Bathory's Tranquil kicks in, right? So he has two oh shit buttons. That's what I like to call them, oh shit buttons. So he won't die very fast, right? So it's actually useful. However, it's really not that great, right? And you're only going to be using Brook really in dragon anyway. You can use him in some other, like, I honestly think you can use him as Burst in Yupir's Labyrinth. Fire Days, you can use him, but there's so many other choices that it really doesn't matter. So it does something, but it's not super great. So once again, I wouldn't pull for him. Basically, literally the only units that you should really pull for as a free-to-play player are, one, waifus and husbandos, right? The ones that you just want because they look really cool, you love the character, whatever. Just go for it, man. If you really want the character, just do it. As long as you know you're not going to regret it, right? But just go for it. But the other ones are the ones that go from 0 to 100. All right? FC Rara is a good example of this. Normal Rara, no one used normal Rara, right? Nobody. FC Rara, 100% value increase. And 100% is as far as I'm going. I'm not going to do the like over 10,000 meme or nothing like that, right? Just 100% is the cap, right? And Rara is insane. FC Rara. Normal Rara, Annie is another good one, right? Normal Annie's not bad. I mean, she's got some good AoE, but that's it. FC Annie, insane. That you should definitely pull for, right? And Anastasia is another good example, and that's because, once again, normal Rara is good. However, FC Rara, insane. Obviously, with the new Iris meta, she's not that great PvP-wise, but PvE-wise. The thing about the first Guardians is, like, yeah, they've been kicked out of the meta when it comes to PvP, but Dragon, right? Imagine doing Dragon without them. It's so much harder, right? Imagine trying to clear special dungeons without them. So much harder. And it's like, yeah, if you've been playing from the beginning and you've progressed quite a bit, it's like you might not need them anymore to clear this PvE content anymore. However, they're still really good PvE-wise. They're still PvE gods, right? So you really shouldn't discount that. And then a good example of a midway FC would be Shafrakan. Regular Shafrakan is good, like really good. especially in this PvP meta. And obviously, FC Shafrakan is better. FC Shafrakan has like damage immunity as one of his passes, which is really nice, especially in this meta. And his S1 does damage, which is nice, versus Shafrakan's normal S1 is just a heal, which really doesn't mean much in this PvP meta. However, the biggest reason you want him on your team is because of his Fear of the Abyss passive, which normal Shafrakan has. And I would say I would probably put the FC Shafrakan at like a 50% value increase. He is definitely better than regular Shafrakan. However, he's not necessary, right? Like I said, regular Rara versus FC Rara. Regular Rara you will never use. FC Rara you will use everywhere, right? Normal Iris you will use nowhere. Well, some people actually use her, I think, but basically you use her nowhere. FC Iris, PvP changer, right? She's the meta changer, and when it comes to Yurpir's Labyrinth, she's the best mana battery. She's not bad in Dragon, right? Normal Annie, you don't use her anywhere. And if you do use her, you could easily just as easily use a different unit. However, FC Annie, boss. Absolutely insane, especially in PvP. Right? Whereas regular Shafrakan is good. FC Shafrakan definitely better. However, not necessary. Alright. So, it's really objective, one. And two, you have to be able to identify and like put a value on the FC versus the normal version. But basically, just think for yourself, man. Use your brain. Use your brain. Be like, is this really worth it? Right? Like I said, Dagus is my best example because I love the man. I love Dagus, one of my favorite characters, and I really wanted to pull on his FC, but the value was just so low that it just really wasn't worth it. Alright, so that's it. Hopefully next week, well actually hopefully in a day or two, the FC Lepin rework will come in and I could do another is it worth it pull video, because honestly I'm really excited for the FC Lepin rework. I honestly think regular FC FC Lepin right now honestly isn't bad, because the meta changed to like an AoE burst, I kill you in 2 turns no matter what. She's not that great PvP wise, but I mean she has one of her passives is like when she gets low she gets increased block. And everybody knows how annoying it is to get blocked in PvP. Honestly, I think normal Lepin or normal FC Lepin right now is pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to the rework and seeing what they're going to do with her. But whatever, that's it. That's it for this video. I'll see you next time. Hope this helped. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.